facebook.com and suddenly you see the ad of Bata shoes. How many of you have already sensed something like this? Not Bata shoe, it could be any other product, but how many of you have already observed this kind of thing? You are talking with your friend over WhatsApp, but suddenly that same topic which you are talking, you are seeing that ad relevant to that over your facebook.com or instagram.com. Happens? Yes? No? Tell me, do you think then privacy is getting attained? No, right? So privacy is a myth. They are doing advertisement for it. I am giving you private thing and everything. Still, it's not private. So that means privacy is a myth. So a lot of things comes inside it. So I hope everybody understood now the product side. Now let's look at the skills. Because once we have understood the product, let's take a look at the skills and understand how the skills and what are the skills which are going to be required for this. Number one, if a company is coming and pushing their ads, so do I need to have an Excel sheet where I will be keeping details about that company, like what is the advertisement number, what is the photo they have given, what is the company name, let's say I will fill scalar here, what is the text they want to say, where they say, hey, masterclass from Shivank Agarwal, and some more details around it, date, time and all that, right? Similarly, advertisement 2, maybe the photo of it, the banner of it, company name, let's say Bata, the text what they're giving and some other details. Similarly, some other details in my Excel sheet. That's one part. Second part is all these users who are coming in here, those users, I would like to have details of them also, right? Otherwise, how will I be able to send an ad? I need to have some details about the users. By the way, just a call out, we don't keep the details of the user, we keep the details about your mobile. Actually, everything is linked with your mobile. So your mobile device, whatever you click on that mobile, all your cookies and everything, they are not. Have you gone to a website that say accept cookie and you by default click on that? Actually, that's one way to take your commitment that you're okay to share ads and all that. So a lot of your data goes in through that. And what happens through this? We keep on collecting that information. Now tell me, Microsoft being a global company, they will be having billions of user base. Yes. Now in this case, that Excel sheet where you are storing the data about user have done this activity at this timestamp and so on. Don't you think those entry will be huge? Now people who have worked on Excel sheet, tell me, if you have billions of entries inside your Excel sheet, will you be able to even open that? No, you will not be able to open that, right? That will be a problem because it's going to be like, okay, you have just built this Excel sheet and first of all, billions of things will not work. Second is, if you want to write any query, if you want to do filtering in billion users, will you be able to do that? No, it will be a problem. Either it will be very slow and it will not be great also. Plus, it will not be even secure. Now, to handle such things, we use something called as databases. So to databases, what it do? Databases, basically there are a lot of databases coming from different companies. For example, Oracle, you have something called as MySQL, you have something called as PostgreSQL, and so on. There are a lot many companies like this who provide their databases. So what we can do, we can store the data inside their databases. Now in these databases, you can put as much data as you want, no problem. You can write very good queries. Just like in Excel sheet, you can do filter, you can do sum. Similarly, here you can do even advanced queries. Plus, it also provides a good security of your system. A lot of good security what you get inside your system as well. So this means that I got my first skill set required, which is very mandatory for us to have. Doesn't matter, you want to become data analyst, you want to become data scientist, you want to become AI engineer, you want to learn Gen AI, anything you want to learn, you need to have a good insight on databases. Why? Because every company these days works with data. If you are coming in AI field, it's all about data. So you should know how to fetch that data from this DBs. You should know how to use this data further and analyze on top of it. Otherwise, everything is waste. So that's the first important skill set. So any job description you will find for a DA or DS or anything, you will find database as a mandatory skill set. Forget about Microsoft. Any company you look at, you will find database almost as a mandatory step. I would say 80% of the JD have databases. So that's one of the mandatory first skill set. Second thing, let's talk about programming language skill set. Now what happens? Like if I have to build this kind of product, right? Because if I have built some product, then that product need to be built using some programming language, right? I need to write some code, right? Otherwise, how the softwares will be built up and so on. Secondly, in order to make it interactive through, then I also need some programming language. That is where I have a lot of programming language like Python, Java, C#, Scala, and so on. Now think of this programming language in this format. Like if we both have to communicate, we are communicating with English language. That's a common language we have identified, and you are able to understand me and I am able to understand your chats also. If I start talking in a language which you do not know, you will not be able to understand that, right? That's also going to happen. So similarly, if I want to talk to computer, hey computer, build this, I need to have some programming language with me, using which I will be able to create a system and say that, okay, this is the way I'm going to talk to my computer. So my computer will be able to understand that part now. Now, out of so many programming language, the data science community or the AI community have picked up Python as one of their major programming language. It doesn't mean you cannot use others, but as a major programming language, Python is being picked up as one of the major language. Why? Problem with AI community is AI community allow with both open hands everyone inside the system. What I mean by that? This community says that even if you belong to non-tech field, you can come in AI. You belong to tech field, you can enter into AI. Everything is good enough here. So you can easily come inside the tech field if you want to come inside this. Now I tell you a thing. Now, if a non-tech person coming inside this, then the problem here is that, okay, I just said that, okay, you can enter inside this field, but then you have to learn a programming language. Now you will say, hey, come on, I don't want to enter inside AI then. If you ask me to learn a programming language, it's going to be hard for me to learn that, right? But Python programming language just sounds like English. So just like if you know English language, you can learn Python so easily with it. It doesn't sound like any difficult programming language. It sounds like English. In fact, I will show you today some code of it so that you get some fair idea how Python looks like. That's the reason this community adopted Python, so that it's easy to learn even for the non-technical folks. That's the idea. Second part. This is the second skill which you need to have. Some programming language you need to know, which is the most easiest, Python. Third is, in your company, you all must have seen some graphs, something like you have like profit growing like this, revenue growing like this, and so on. A lot of graphs like this. Now the thing here is, if you have profit growing like this, graph growing like this, which means you want to generate some sort of system where you can see what is happening with the raw data, how this looks like. Now in this particular case, if you notice, what is happening is we have basically some tools available with us which can help us build these kind of interesting visualization. I created very basic. You could have very strong graphs being generated, good dashboards getting generated. Now, those can be done by using something with Tableau or Power BI. I remember when I started the session, somebody just jumped up and said, hey, are you going to talk about Power BI? Answer is in front of you. So this skill set is required if you have a raw data, and from that raw data, you want to visualize something out of it. Maybe I want to see that how my with time, how my profit is growing for my advertisement journey, right? With time, how my profit is growing. Is my profit growing up or not? Or my number of advertisement growing up or not? So maybe I can plot this here, right? If it's growing, that means my product is doing decently well. So these are all the ideas what you can plot very well. And this is like click and you get responses. That's in great power. You have this Tableau and Power BI. Now further to this, let me give you a very interesting story. So till now I told you three interesting points. One is databases, I told you why. Second is programming language, I told you why. Number three is visualization, I told you why. All three I have covered till now. Number 4, this is very interesting and very important. Without this, you cannot even expect to go in the data science field. Let me give you an analogy first, and then I will tell you that interesting scene. Let's say this is Shivang. This Shivang is 5,000-year-old Shivang. Okay, he's very old Shivang. That's why you can have that feeling of Jingalalahu, right? Right? Jingalalahu. Now this Shivang is hungry. So what he did? He went to a jungle. In jungle, he hunted a rabbit. Now, once he hunted a rabbit, he ate it. Let's say that happened. Because he was hungry, he ate it. By the way, disclaimer, I am a vegetarian. Okay, this is just for the example. So he hunted a rabbit and he ate it. Second example, he is today Shivang, right? You can see I am sitting with a decent face today, right? So this is today's Shivang, present Shivang. Now, if he is hungry, what he will do? He will go to Swiggy Zomato and he will just connect with the restaurant, get the food and eat it. Now, which scenario seems easier? A or B? Answer in the chat box. Which scenario sounds easier? B. I thought some people will say A. Some people say, hey, come on Shivang, I'm an adventurous guy. I will go with A. Who take the easy path? I want to take the adventurous path. So there are very less adventurous guys in this. Now, so B sounds to be easier one. Why? Here, I need to do everything on scratch from my own. I need to do all the hard work on my own. If I'm hungry, I need to do everything on my own. This is what exactly do you do in Python. If you have to do a task, you need to write code from scratch. You will go with this portion. Now, in present situation, what's happening? This Swiggy Zomato is connected with a restaurant who have an expertise to finish the job. It's basically, I don't need to bother about now anything. I just pay to them and these people complete the job for me automatically. No hard work for me. I just need to eat. So that's why this is something called as Python libraries. What is Python libraries? Somebody have already written the code because they know that this is something a data scientist or a DA generally do. So they have already written the code. I just want to use them as it is. Why to rewrite the code? They have already spent a lot of time in optimizing that code, writing that big code. I just want to use it as it is. Just like how restaurants, you have prepared something for you. You don't need to worry about that expertise. One good part is that restaurants at least charge. This is free of cost. It's open source. So it's free of cost. That's the reason companies love it. In Microsoft, we used to use it like anything. That's one important part. Now, what is happening? These Python libraries, we call it as NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, and so on. By the way, today when I will take you to the project, I will be introducing you with this code as well, so that you have an idea what is this. So I told you by now 4 important skill set. Database to keep the data and to query it. Python to program something on top of it. Python libraries, which is your NumPy, Pandas, specs. Like I told you just now, where somebody have already written the code, let me just reuse it. Tableau Excel, which is for your visualization of your data, right? I put it in the form of graph so that I can go ahead with this. Last skill set, and then I will introduce you and connect you with all these topic names, which we have to start with. So currently, by the way, we are still at the skill sets. After I will cover the skill set, I will connect you that, okay, this is required for DA, this is required for DS, this is required for machine learning, and so on. So let's keep moving up. So now let's move towards one last skill set, and this is your maths. I know this is the most scary part, but trust me, this is the most easiest part. You might have all seen in your TV some sort of polls. Now in this poll, that you might have seen that they talk about parties having this seat or this seat. Now in this polls, what generally happens is they don't talk to everyone, right? Now still how they're able to say that this party is going to win this number of seats. So what they do in this case is they basically go ahead and they only use a sample of data. They talk with only just some sample of folks, and with this sample of folks, they are able to make a decision for every population. This is, by the way, very interesting thing what comes from the probability statistics and hypothesis testing. In fact, let me just call out here, what also happens here is, if you just follow this, in fact, I have seen this in my practical life example, that if you open a poll, you just go and check any poll over LinkedIn or Twitter or any place, you will notice that, let's say after 2 hours, if 30% of the people have said an option A and 70% of the people have clicked on option B, you can go ahead and go to, let's say, 8 hours. You will notice that even after 8 hours, the percentage will almost stay the same. Have you seen this? Yes. So this is what you might have observed, or you can go and observe. In fact, let me put another example. Have you also seen this part that if you watch election results, now in election results, like for example, this 2029 election, when they showed that BJP have 240 seats around 12 PM or something, it stayed almost same when the whole counting got finished. Have you noticed that? The seats have just varied by small number, but not have changed much. Why? A sample, if the sample size is decent enough, this sample size represents the very high population. Okay, this sample size talk about the high population across with this. So this is what exactly happens, and this is what exactly is used with a mathematical word. In fact, just to give you an example, how many of you have heard about this Prashant Kishore? And they said that, you know what, he worked with BJP initially, BJP won. He worked with Mamata Banerjee, Mamata Banerjee won. He worked with Congress, Congress won. Have you noticed this part from Prashant Kishore? Now he opened his own political party, that's a different case. But he used to be a political advisor. Now you know what he used to do? He have a team he used to hire, and he used to hire data analysts who have this skill set. And using that skill set, he used to collect information, what people are talking about. Using the sample, he used to collect all that information. And then after that, it's going to call out from there that, okay, if let's say they figure out that, okay, there is something which is waving up, then he creates strategies. Do you remember that strategy of Mamata Banerjee leg got broken during the election time? And then suddenly she got up from the seat. Similar thing he did with BJP also, by the way. Okay. So a lot of strategies he create and say, hey, you do this. So, and then it will work. So all these things require a very good understanding of probability statistics and hypothesis testing. Now you may, by the way, please don't make it BJP versus Congress. This is just to give you an example with which you can connect easily. Okay. It could be for anything else. Now, main idea here is that all these companies go ahead and talk about, basically they use these particular skill set to evaluate and understand that, okay, from a sample, how can I talk about a population? This is just the one part about it. There are other mathematical concepts also using which you will be able to go ahead and evaluate that, okay, what you want to do, whether your hypothesis is correct or not. Let's say if I want to launch a product, should I launch it now? Should I launch it in December? Should I launch it in March? All that hypothesis you will be able to test by using some mathematics. Now there are some special techniques using which we create samplings and create techniques to solve that part. That's why maths is super interesting to learn. All the folks, if I ask you right now, how many of you fear maths? How many of you fear maths? Give me an honest answer. How many of you feel that, you know what, I never understood, I just mugged it up, but I don't know how to use it, where to use it. Like you must be thinking, why I learned calculus dy by dx, why I learned integration concepts, right? A lot of people have this question mark. Let me tell you, the reason you fear math is because you have never learned it in the right way. If you learn it in the right way, this is the most easiest topic and most fun topic to learn. So that's the part. And again, this is an important skill set. So let me summarize this. Database, I talked about to keep the data and do analysis. Python for programming language. Python libraries, remember that example of jungle, then Tableau Excel for data visualization, talking about probability statistics and hypothesis testing from a mathematical aspect. This all skill set is required for becoming a data analyst. So if you see any job opening talking about we are looking for DA, they are majorly looking for all these skill sets. That's the first coverage of today's topic. So that you get an idea what all skills I need to have if I want to enter into the DA zone. Now let's go to the second part. Now your question could be, what about data science? For the data science part, you need to have skill set of all the DA which were there. By the way, you need to be not expert into it, but you need to have some basic understanding about DB, Python, Python library. You don't need Tableau Excel, and you need to have basic understanding of maths. Not too much depth, basic understanding of maths. Now for this data science step, you need to have basic skills of DA. Further to that, you need to have some more knowledge. What is that knowledge? That knowledge is called as machine learning, deep learning, NLP. I will talk about them one by one so that you have an idea what are these skill sets. But before I deep dive into it, then what is AI? This question should also hit your mind. In fact, this AI term was coined in 1940. Before that also it was there, but they were not able to formalize it. This was coined in 1940. And what does this mean? It helps you to create intelligence in computation system. This is the only meaning of your AI. If I am able to create intelligence in my computer or in my any computing system, it could be mobile device, it could be a tablet, it could be a laptop, it could be any type of server, that's basically is an AI. For example, let's say if I talk about robotics, that robotics is also a form of AI. Similarly, I can talk about databases. Databases also have its own intelligence with this part. This is also an AI. So AI is an umbrella under which everything falls up. Even your DA falls inside it, even your data science falls inside it, even your generative AI falls inside it, and everything else. Think of it like we say there is a Earth, right? Now Earth is like AI. Now inside this Earth we have India, we have basically you can say Asia, you have Europe and so on, right? So we are broken up inside that. But overall it's a Earth under which we all fall. So even data science falls under AI. Think of like data science like Asia. If AI is the Earth, then your Asia is data science. Europe may be data analyst and so on. That is how we talk about it. So similar term, AI is the bigger umbrella under which everything falls. Not everything digital. Now you can say digital means could be just my phone. Is my phone alone intelligent? No. Now inside phone, what software we use, what all things I want to use, that's basically is the intelligence. When I add intelligence to my system, that becomes my AI. Let's move on. Now let's talk about machine learning. For machine learning, you need to have some insight of maths, some statistics again coming from maths, and some computer science fundamentals. Let me talk about some examples around it. Have you seen something called as Magicbricks Propworth? Let me give you an example, what they do. So let's say if you go to Magicbricks Propworth, what they do is, or in fact Cars24 also, let's say on Cars24, you can go and put your vehicle registration number, put the year of the vehicle, like when you have registered, how many kilometers you have driven, and some other details. If you put that, it will tell you what could be the possible selling price of your car. How many of you have seen this? It gives you a predicted price, that what could be a possible selling price of your car. Similar way, what Magicbricks Propworth do is, if you put your society name, if you put how many BHK the house is, if you put it's a east facing, south facing and so on, if you put the square feet and some more details, then it will tell you what is the expected price of this house. And they are almost very much perfect inside it. If you look at the pricings and all, what they predict is almost very much perfect. Now how they do it? Let me give you an example. So let's say if I have two values, one is age, number of year of experience, one is your salary. Let's say this is the case. Now if I say if your person is 1 year experience, he is getting 10K salary. If he's 2-year experience, he's getting 21K salary. If he's 3-year experience, he's getting 30K salary. If he's 4-year experience, he's getting 40K salary. Now tell me, if I ask you a question, that what is the salary for 6-year experience? Can you answer this? What should be the salary of 6-year experience? 60K? Everybody aligned with this? Not 70K, right? Think about it. 60K, right? Because what's happening? If you look at this, your mind will be running like this. 1 year to 10K, which means 1 year to 10K. 2 year to 20K. This means what I'm doing, whatever the year of experience is, I am multiplying this with 10K. Agree? There could be small mistakes here and there, which is fine. For example, here I will have a mistake of 1K, which is fine. I cannot always be perfect, but I can come close to that pattern. Similarly, 3-year experience is 30K. 3 into 10K, I got my salary here. So which means if this was my Y and this was my X, can I say my formula is coming out to be 10X? Yes, this is what I'm doing here. This thing in machine learning word is called as model. So what happened in machine learning? I will give you a data set. Using that data set, there are machine learning technique. You will be able to come up with a model. That model will be as close as possible with respect to your data pattern. Now, any new data getting asked, you just input that and you will be able to see your final outcome. This is what exactly happens inside your machine learning. Okay, in your machine learning, this is what exactly happens and you see your output across with it. In fact, you might have seen even the issue with respect to Glassdoors. In your Glassdoor also what happens? You may have you might have gone in your Glassdoor and seen that. Let's say you can plug in your experience, you can plug in your genders, you can plug in your college, and you can plug in multiple details. And then you ask that, okay, what is the salary I can expect? In fact, don't need to even put that much of detail. This detail you provide it on your own when you create your account also. But have you noticed when you go to the Glassdoor and ask, like if I am looking for, if I'm looking in Google for L4 level, what is the salary I can expect? Have you noticed this kind of thing? They tell you the range in the salary, what you can expect. Again, they use for those cases, something like machine learning models to predict on this part. So what they do, they help to create a model. Now this model can also be something slightly advanced. See, here I took a very simple example, but what about if I have multiple columns here? Then my model will look something like this. So 10 into experience plus 2 into gender plus 3 into college plus something is equal to salary. This mathematical calculation, what we do, is the only thing what happens inside your machine learning journey. Now there are different kind of data, different kind of algorithms to create this model, but everything is all about finding out this right model here. That's it. This is what happens inside machine learning. You might have seen weather prediction app. You want to know what's the weather for tomorrow in Bangalore. It will tell you. Again, it's a machine learning. So what I say to machine learning is then like an astrologer, where you are going and predicting something about future. So here, given some data, I will create a model. What that model will do, that model will help me to talk about any new data. For example, here, I do not have anything about 6-year experience, but even since I have learned a model, I can plug in this 6 and will be able to get an approximate value for this. This is the idea about it. This is what is machine learning. So if you think about it, it's not hard at all. If you see this now, like I said, AI is this complete thing. Now inside this part, you have your robotics also in your AI. You also have your machine learning. Now inside this machine learning, I will have deep learning. Inside deep learning, I will have another layer called as NLP. Now let's go inside them and see this part. What is deep learning? Deep learning is also about predictions. But predictions on what? Predictions on images or video. Do you recall when Facebook have started this as the first thing? You upload a picture of yourself with your friend, and what it used to do, it used to tell us, hey, this is Shivank. Hey, this is XYZ. Do you remember this thing? This is what Facebook started with. They were able to recognize once you upload the pictures. This was the system used by Facebook. And this is nothing but coming from your deep learning. So deep learning is basically one thing where you are predicting on top of images or video. I have done a lot of projects on this. In fact, lot of projects are available on top of your deep learning. In fact, how this came up in the market. There were earlier, before deep learning, this algorithm called as SVM was highly famous in the market. And there used to be a famous competition called as ImageNet. What used to happen with this ImageNet? They used to give multiple images, like this is the image of cat, this is the image of human, this is the image about something else, right? And so on. So you need to, if I give you an image, you need to tell me what is this image. That is what they used to give, and very small images. Now, using SVM, in that competition, people used to like have 60% accuracy, 59.89% of accuracy, 59.97% of accuracy. So he was the winner, he was the second winner, he was the third winner. Small margin they used to win. You know what happened? One person, Alex, he entered in the market and he said, come on. And there were a lot many other folks after that, like VGGNet, MobileNet, and so many things came up after that. So what they were able to get from this, they said, I can hit with an accuracy of 95%. And that create a wow factor for everyone, because they were able to say that, okay, you know what, we are able to now generate a better accuracy with something. And from there, neural networks or deep learning became much famous across. That's what exactly happened at that time. In fact, just to give you one more project which I have personally worked on, if you know this hospital called as Fortis Hospital, have you heard about this Fortis Hospital? In the Fortis Hospital, what we have done and deployed this, if you go to Fortis Hospital, you can check that. So there is a disease called as tuberculosis. Now this tuberculosis disease is like the water get filled inside the lungs and you can die because it cough a lot. A lot of patients die due to tuberculosis. So what happens in tuberculosis? If you go for a general treatment, they will take an X-ray report. That X-ray report go to radiologist. Radiologists take 3 days to tell you whether you have tuberculosis or not. Now the problem is during this 3 days time frame, patient can die. It's very bad. Then what they do? So the doctor, as soon as he suspect that this person could have tuberculosis, they start medications immediately. So they don't wait for 3 days report. But there is a problem. Tuberculosis medication are very, very heavy side effect medicines. This is going to be big issue because they are very heavy medicines in this case. So which means this is not gonna work if you give the medication because they have very high side effect of this. And what did they notice was 98% of the people do not come up as positive in tuberculosis. Only 2% of the people come out as truly positive for the tuberculosis, which means I am giving a high level medication to 98% of people, which is not correct because they will have their own side effect on the kidney and all that. So that's a challenge with this. So what we did, we said, we will take your X-ray report. We trained it using a deep learning model. In that deep learning model, in that X-ray report, within 2 minutes, it will tell whether you have tuberculosis or you do not have tuberculosis. Now, because it's a life in that system, the way we have created this up, if my model will tell that you do not have tuberculosis, it's 100% sure you do not have tuberculosis. But if my model will tell that you have tuberculosis, there is a chance of mistake. Then you go and radiologist can confirm that. That is what happens. By doing this, we were able to save a lot of patients here who were getting unnecessary medications. Plus, it gives relief to a lot of folks immediately. Oh, I don't have tuberculosis at least. Then doctor can start giving a different prescriptions. Now this happening on an X-ray image. Again, that's an image. And this model is deployed on Fortis Hospital. If you go anytime to Fortis Hospital and talk about the tuberculosis, they use this product. Okay, so that's what we did. If you're wondering about data, we got it actually from the Fortis Hospital only. Okay, and then we have augmented that data as well. That's the other part. Okay, so this is your deep learning. So deep learning works on top of images or videos. What about NLP? NLP is also a prediction, but this prediction is on top text data. For example, over your Google search, you are typing something, and have you noticed it start automatically telling you what you're trying to type? This is an example of NLP. You talk with Alexa. That Alexa is you are talking and Alexa is responding with an intelligent conversation. That's again is your NLP. So all these text related stuff is nothing but your NLP only. Wherever your things comes up with respect to your text, this is the NLP part. In fact, you must be hearing today a lot of common term called as ChatGPT. This whole ChatGPT or generative AI came from a paper which came in NLP in 2017 called as Transformers. This Transformers is the one which changed everything, and then after that there was another paper called as Attention is All You Need, and after that this paper got converted to your ChatGPT. So whatever you are seeing today word with respect to ChatGPT, that is what exactly is coming with respect to your NLP component. Okay, so which means you have a lot of information with respect to this. Now let me tell you one more interesting thing. The whole context of your generative AI, agentic AI, everything is falling under the umbrella of NLP only. This is nothing but a subset of that, which is all happening around. So now to call out, if you want to become DA, then you need to have the skill set like SQL, Power BI, Tableau, your Python libraries, Python, your mathematical part. If you want to become DS, then you need to know DA, you need to know machine learning, you need to know deep learning, you need to know NLP. These are the skill set required for your DS part. Okay, so this means if you want to become a data scientist, you need to work slightly extra hard. That's what is required in this case. Now let's move on and see this part. For example, here, I want to talk about how you can learn all this, right? Because ultimately I talked a lot, but if you are not able to learn any of this thing, then there's no point, right? So I want to talk about how you can learn all this item. If you want to learn specifically SQL, Python, data structures and algorithm, data structures and algorithms is also one skill required, again from a programming language Python perspective. So then you need to go to W3 School, very good website. You can learn a lot from it, very easy written language thing. LeetCode and HackerRank for practicing on this course. If you want to learn maths, all the maths for DA, just type over your YouTube MIT lectures on maths. You will be able to see very hi-fi good lectures there, very good quality. You can learn from that. If you want to learn machine learning, deep learning, NLP, then over YouTube itself, you can go to and find out a person called as NG Andrew. Very good one. This NG Andrew guy, you can just go ahead and figure him out and you can see all his course with respect to your machine learning, deep learning and NLP. So this is one part. Then if you want to practice projects around it, then you can go to Kaggle.com. Okay. So Kaggle.com is another one. You can go and look at your projects and work on it. Today I will show you what is Kaggle.com. One more website which I can recommend you, which is also free of cost, is your Scalar Topics. So Scalar Topics is one place where you can see a lot of interesting free of cost lectures which you can get engaged with. So if you want to figure out all of this at one place, then Scalar Topics would be one place. You can go in and can go through a lot of videos and go through all the sections there. So that's very interesting. Now, one more quick thing, and then I have a lot of other items like talking about interviews and all that. This is for the folks who are highly disciplined, and if you can follow this up, please don't follow any other path. Trust me, this is good enough. You don't need to worry about any other path. It may take you 2 years or something to wrap this up, but if you do it dedicatedly, you will be able to finish this well and you are all set and ready. Nothing else required. In case if you are somebody who needs some guidance, then in that case, I just want to talk about just in quick 2-3 minutes only. I will not take much time. Just to quickly talk about how you can take guidance from Scalar also if you want to, which is with respect to Scalar have also designed a course specifically for data analyst and data scientist. And by the way, here what happens is like the course is designed and broken into two parts. One is for data analyst, second is from the data science perspective. So what people do, though this course is for like a longer time frame, more than 1 year, but data analyst section, let's say, get over in 8 months, people take a job here itself and they continue doing the course. Once they finish the data science part, then they go ahead and basically finish the course with respect to data science, and then they again sit for the job with respect to data science as well. So these are two things which basically people do across. So now let's talk about what are the things basically is being covered. One is your SQL and Tableau, which is going to be the first section. Then it's going to be Python. Then it's going to be NumPy Panda. Then it's going to be probability statistics and hypothesis testing. After that, it's going to be product analytics. Once you finish till this point, this finish up almost the everything required for a DA perspective. Now, once this is done, then further to that, folks sit for placement and go for the job roles. That's another part. Then after that, folks go across further for looking for another job side of it, which is your maths for machine learning. Machine learning runs for your 4 months. Then your machine learning ML ops. This is required to productionize the model. So let's say you created all these models on your laptop, but how you will make it available for the end user? This is where your ML ops pops up. Then after that, we have deep learning, NLP, OpenCV. It goes for 3 months. And then further to this, we also provide the data structures and algorithm. All these sessions happen in the live format. And basically, this happens like 3 classes per week, where you go across for 2 hours per lecture and so on. What's unique about this course? Number one, it's going to have almost 80 plus business cases. What do you mean by this? We have tied up with a lot of companies, and these companies, what happens with, they have given us their business problem statements for us to give us the problem statement to our learners. Now, the deal is that they need people for hiring. So what we do, once they finish the business cases, we upload for them. And if they like something, when they come for hiring, they basically ask a lot of questions around it. And then further to that, in turn for them, they get a proper person for the hiring part. So that's a win-win deal for both of us. This differentiating factor helps a lot, because this is where you are nowhere working on just the normal raw data, but you are working on very messy data, real data, what this industry level people use. So that's basically is important. Then there is a mentorship being provided and so on. That's important. And one more thing is, we also cover generative AI and LLM part also live. So here you learn about agentic AI, generative AI, everything across with it. The commitment what is required here is roughly 7 to 9 hours. Your classes is like almost 6 hours per week, and then total commitment required is 12 to 15 hours per week. This is what is required for this part. Now, what is the stats behind it? This is an audited report being presented on the Scaler side. The folks who complete the course across with it, we have noticed in them almost between 85 to 92% of the folks getting placed in this part. That's the data what we have, which is audited. Folks who complete the course are able to basically achieve this, which means if you just blindly sit and follow everything what we are telling you up, because we know this game very well, that what is required in industry, what these companies need, because we have tie up with these companies as well. So we know their game, what they look for. From this angle, we are able to pull this off very easily towards the job roles. The only expectation is making sure that you are following every step, which also means that if you look here, that that's why a lot of people, what they do, they kind of sit across here, and a lot of people take a DA role. Once they finish the DA side of the things, they take the data science roles. This is what people do. A lot of people who are already smart, they sometimes skip some modules, that option they have, and they directly quickly move towards the data science roles also. So both the things happens across with this. So this is one of the thing which I just wanted to call out, just to ensure that you have some idea in case if you need it. Now, basically, I know there are a lot of questions running around. What I can do is, I can basically right now I can just we can take a small break after this, but at the same time, if you have any questions around this in the course side of the things, maybe we can again have the poll where if you have any questions related to the course, you can go ahead and shoot that, and we can help you with this further. But further to this, after the break, I have still a lot of topics to cover with respect to how the jobs looks like, how the preparation you need to do. We will be talking about a project. We will be talking about even how we will be following up with respect to Kaggle.com platform. So still we have a lot of content to cover, which we will do after the break. Over to you, my host.
I'll request you to please engage with the poll if you want to speak to the Scalar Career Counselor one on one. This is for everyone who wants to talk to a career counselor, discuss their issues. They want to understand what's happening in the industry, how's the industry going on, what kind of different, positions the people are hiring for, what companies are, they're looking for, what is the placement rate. Because if you want to talk to the career counselor, just say yes for this callback poll. This is free. We are not charging any money. You know, about the price of the course, you can go ahead and talk to the career counselor. Whether, first of all, whether you're eligible or not, you have to pass a test, and once you're eligible, they'll let you know what it is. For more such events of Scalar, you can keep checking scalar.com/events. When will I get a call once you register? You will be getting a call within 48 hours of you saying yes. Fee structure, I've already mentioned. Please talk to the Scalar Career Counselor. They'll be able to help you better. Yes, Scalar courses are paid courses. Only our master classes are small, video lecture, like Scalar topics. All of these are completely free. Will we get the notes of the session post the event? Yes, yes, definitely. You'll get the notes. For that, what I'll do is just give me a minute. I'll just share. When will the test be conducted to make the eligibility and the link sent to the email? Uh, what you can do is you can go to scalar.com slash, scalar.com, and there is a test. There is an option to appear for test. You can do that. Okay, so definitely. Uh, Next is, again, I'm mentioning you guys. Please talk to the Scalar Career Counselor. This is a break of, like, we'll be taking two or three more minutes break, and then we'll pass it. Sir is on break. Once Sir is back, I'll just do. Also, guys, we often get a lot of requests that we want to talk to someone who is there in maybe a Scalar program, or maybe who has completed a program. They themselves are data scientists or ML engineers or AI engineers. We often get a lot of requests like that. Just out of goodwill, there are people like Abhijit. Abhijit is one of the guy who really is there to help people along the way. He is a senior data analyst. He's the one who will be, if you want to connect to him, so you can also DM him over LinkedIn. But if you want to connect to him over a one-on-one call, what I'll do is I'll quickly launch a poll for that. This poll, I'm launching it for the last time, like first and last time. If you want to connect to someone who themselves are data analyst or data scientist, please just say yes for this callback poll. These are not Scalar employees. They're not there to sell you Scalar courses, or they're not there to tell you about Scalar courses. These are like people whom you really want to talk to over LinkedIn, and you really try hard, and then you don't get a reply from them. This is your opportunity, and best thing, we don't charge any money for this. Okay, guys, I will request, guys, please don't spam the chat section. I've already mentioned the fee structure and all of these details. Because why I'm not saying this, because there are sometimes promotion that are going on. There are sometimes, the scholarships are available for the people while they give the test. So I'm not the right person to talk to you about the fee structure. It is the work of the sales team to talk about it. If you guys want to go ahead and take up the course, what you can do, what I can suggest is talk to the Scalar Career Counselor. First, give the test, check whether you're eligible or not, whether you're eligible for the program or not, and then whether you're eligible for the scholarship or not, and post that you will be getting the idea. Certificate, the link of the certificates will be given towards the end of the class. There were questions about IIT Roorkee. Just I want to address that. Please understand, Scalar, there are people who are asking us about how to upscale themselves, how to upgrade their CVs. So I want to quickly share the upgrade that we have done to one of our programs recently. That is, in this session we have a lot of folks who are more professionally experienced than other, right? So these people want to upscale themselves. So we have this advanced AI and ML program. This is designed for those who have already have a coding experience, want to dive deeper into AI engineering role. Please hear me correct. AI engineering role. This program comes with an additional certificate module from IIT Roorkee, where you will get a hands-on with the real projects, tools like LLM, RAG. Even you have a optional campus immersion at IIT Roorkee. The CEC IIT Roorkee certification included with Scalar Advanced AI and ML program. This certification module is also available for the optional upgrade to any of these Scalar programs, and which will be accessible 9 months after 9 months into the program. If there is any doubt, talk to the career counselor about it. We will be only using English because English is a language which is being commonly used in the corporate world. So we will be using English. Are there any free certificate courses in Scalar? We don't have free certificate courses in Scalar, but we have a lot of master classes which we conduct, and these are completely free of cost. You can check out scalar.com/events. I will, put it for you guys. You can check that. Then you can check Scalar Topic is one such, platform. And also there were people who were asking about, more details regarding Scalar program. What I'll do is I'll quickly share a link with you. This session is taken. There is a particular session which is taken by one of our lead instructor here at Scalar, which is Naman Bhalla. He has previous experience working at Google, so he takes a session. If you want more details about Scalar, you can go ahead, guys. I did not get a call which I registered for another masterclass similar to this. Got a call in the sense like you were requesting for a call to talk to Scalar Career Counselor. If you haven't, we will be launching the poll maybe towards the end for everyone once again. That time you can interact. Now I'll quickly pass the session back to Shivang. Over to you, sir.
80 minus 0, still my NPS is 80 only. Which means neutral is still going to impact your NPS in a negative way. So if any customer of yours is going to rate you as 7, 8, it is much negative for you. Detractor is anyway negative, but even this part is highly negative. Okay, I hope everybody clear on the NPS, because now I will show you a data analyst work. Can you all see my screen? Okay, so in my Google, I just put Google Colab, and this is where you can write all the code in your data science journey. Okay, so this is what you will do. Now let me give you some references how this works. Okay, so here in this I can write all the code, and the goal is not to go over the coding as such, but just to give you an idea how things works. So what happens in Python is, for example, I can say Shivang, what's your age? Okay, so let's say I can say Shivang age is, let's say 34. If I did that, now what's gonna happen? I am storing inside Shivang the age of him, right? I executed this. How I executed this? Two ways. Either I can click on it, or I can say shift enter. Okay, so you can click on this and can run this also. Now once it ran, what I will do, I am going to come back and say, okay, I want to see the value of Shivang. I just written this. I can click on this run button. You will see the output, 34. So what happens inside the Shivang, I am able to keep some value. Simple, small values which I wanted to just convey to you before I move to the major stuff. Now let's go towards that project. Now what I will do in that project is, let me first bring one very interesting diagram for you for your promoter detractor. Let's see this. Do you remember? This is what I explained you just now. Your 1 to 6 are people who are not happy at all. 7 and 8 are people who are still not happy with you. And 9 and 10 are the folks only who are happy. So if anybody is okay also with the service, they should hit 9 and 10 only. Otherwise, everything is negative only. Now let's move on and let me bring a data set for you. So I'm going to just download this data set. Okay, do not worry what I've written. This is basically a Google Drive command where there is a file which I have kept in Google Drive, and I'm basically going ahead and downloading that data. In fact, this is bringing a file called as survey.txt. Let me show you survey.txt. You can see this survey.txt. Let me click on it. Right hand side, you can see some numbers, right? So can you see these are your NPS numbers? Yes. So like you can see these numbers are between 1 to 10. So what Amazon have, let's say, done, they have collected the NPS number from different customer and kept it in a file. And what they're asking you as a data analyst, hey, can you go ahead and tell me what is my NPS right now? Let's say this is the problem statement you are asked to solve. Now, so these are the general problem statements you will keep getting in your company also. Just calling that out. Now what's going to happen is, I am going to first load this data. Let me read this data. And by the way, please don't focus on the code. Oh, sorry. Give me a minute. Now let me load this. So you can see what I'm doing. I am using NumPy. Remember I told you Python libraries? Yes. So now read this. I am saying that I have an integer data. Integer data means numerical data. And I have a file called as survey.txt. Please load this file into a variable called as score. In fact, I can show you when I will say print score. See the numbers. You can see I have 7, 10, 5, ... means there are more numbers here. In fact, if I show you survey.txt, can you see 7, 10, 5 and more numbers from it? So what have happened? This file data is getting stored inside a variable called as score. That is what has just happened. Now what I'm going to do, once I have this, once I have seen basically these values, now what I want to do, I want to find out my total number of detractors. So how can I find out the total number of detractors? Can I say anyone in my score who have given me between 1 to 6, they are my detractor? Yes, look at this now. Notice this code. It's so simple to understand without you have learned anything in Python. I am saying inside my score, whichever score value is less than or equal to 6, call them as detractor. Now let me show you the detractors. Can you see? These are the only numbers between 1 to 6. Yes, they are my detractor. If I want to know how many of them are detractor, there is a function in Python called as length function. So if I say here length of detractors, let's see, it's going to tell me I have 332 detractors. If I want to know how many total number of people I have, I can say length of score, because the score have every number inside it, right? So which means 332 detractors out of 1167. So if I want to know total percentage of detractor, can I say 332 divide by 1167? This tells me 28.44% are my detractor. Firstly, is this part clear to everyone? What I just did? So I calculated total number of people, I calculated total number of detractors, and I took a percentage of them. That is what I did. Now let me figure out promoters also. Now if I have to figure out my promoters are the folks who are giving me numbers greater than or equal to 9. Okay, so I put that and they are my promoters. Let's print them. Let's see these promoters. You can see every number between 9 and 10. Let's figure out how many promoters I have. You can see I got 609 promoters. 609 promoters out of how many? Out of 1167. So this means I have 52% of roughly promoters. So what's my NPS? 52 minus, what is the percentage of detractor? It is 28. So I got 24 ka NPS. Tell me one thing. Is it a good NPS? Is it a good NPS? Not at all. Now tell me one thing. Was this code really hard to understand? You have not known anything in Python, but if you go through the code, was this hard? Was it sounding like English or not? Yes. So this was something like English only. You have never ever coded in Python or Python libraries, but you are still able to make out roughly what it is doing. That's why I said data science community have adopted Python for the same reason. That's why I wanted to give you the flavor of a small project so that you get an idea what exactly these data analysts do and how the work kind of gonna look like for them. Okay, perfect. Now one more thing. Let me go back. And I'm using a different tab now. And here, let me take you towards my Kaggle. So once you create your account, your Kaggle will look something like this. Okay. Now inside this Kaggle, once you log in, you will see different items. For example, you can see competition, data sets, and so on. So let's go inside data sets. This is where you can get any type of data set of your wish. Let's say you want to get the data set related to IPL. You can type IPL. Can you see all the data set between 2008 to 2024? You can go ahead and download. Somebody was saying that I want to get doctors related data. So you can just type medical data. You can see medical cost, personal data, medical transcripts, CT medical images. Somebody was asking if I want to get CT scan images, how can I get it? You can get it from here. Even medical cost data, medical appointment no-shows data, medical cost data, medical insurance payout data, and so on. So lot of data you can get it from here. So you just need to go and download from here. That's one of the very good thing. Second thing is you can go to competitions, and inside these competitions you can go and participate in any of it. For example, you can see I have a competition. If you win it, I will give you $75,000. What happens here? What companies do is they come and they launch competitions. What they do, they bring their own problem statements and they say, if you are able to solve this problem, we will use it and then we will pay you this much of amount. This is what happens. By the way, all these data sets, all these competitions are real and they are free. They are not going to cost you. Now some competitions are already over. Those competitions, you will see them under the tag of knowledge and so on. So that also you can go ahead and start participating inside that and solve those problems. So this is very good place from where you can create your projects and can basically participate in all this. Very interesting, by the way. So this is basically the very good place for folks who want to show their strength like a data scientist. And if you are creating a good rank, a lot of good companies will be behind you. That's what's going to happen here. With this knowledge, if I take you back towards the section what we started with the agenda, where I said I will introduce you what is DA, what is data science, what is machine learning, what is deep learning where we are predicting on top of images. I've also covered basically things on NLP. Then what is generative AI? What do you mean by AI? And so on. We covered this. I talked about the sub areas inside it by giving you a lot of real world problems. Like I said, tuberculosis example in deep learning and so on. I also talked about job roles, like if you want to become data scientist, what skills you need. If you want to become machine learning engineer, what all skills you need and so on. I talked about a small mini project on the DA side, just to give you a pulse how that looks like and to give you an idea that Python is not hard. And in the end, I just introduce you with Kaggle. I hope with this, with whatever intent you have joined in this session, at least 80% of the clarity you have got around this topic now. Now somebody will say that what do you mean by DA? What do you mean by data scientist? What is machine learning? What is AI? How I can learn, what I can learn. I hope now all of you have a good clarity on this subject topic name. Agree on this part? At least 80%. I'm not saying 100%. It's impossible for me to cover 100%, but at least 80% of the idea you all must have got around this. Now, so now what I will do, I will pick up maybe few of the questions, just 4 or 5 questions. Then I have something interesting for you, and then we can talk again further. Okay. So because I just want to make sure I take up just few of the questions part. So one is Python necessary for AI or machine learning, or can we continue with C or C++? By the way, if you know any one programming language, that is good enough. In fact, it's very easy for you to learn Python programming after that, because if you have learned a hard language, everything is easy for you. But still, in order to work in your AI aspect, it's good to know Python programming language. Another question, comparatively, which domain has the best opportunities, data science, ML and AI in terms of work and salary? If you ask me, it depends. Definitely machine learning or data scientists have higher pay salary in comparison to data analyst. Another question, if we want to understand the internals of any machine learning algorithm, how to learn from scratch? By the way, this is what we do as a part of Scalar Journey, where we teach not just about algorithm, but we also make sure that you understand internal nitty-gritty details about it. Not only that, we also make sure that you understand how to optimize those algorithms. What kind of mathematical knowledge is required for data scientists, machine learning and AI? You require statistics, probability statistics and hypothesis testing, and also some part of calculus. Is data analyst future in danger due to AI coming up in place? No. In fact, data analyst is required to build these kind of products. That is never going to go away. It's just that now it is becoming much more optimal. So many people with so many different backgrounds have joined this session. How do you handle this at scale up? Very interesting part. By the way, we create homogeneous batches. So what happens here is we ensure that what we do here, we ensure that whoever is basically a part of the system, we ensure that they are in the homogeneity batches where it's going to be with respect to non-tech folks sitting with non-tech folks, or the tech folks sitting with the tech folks, so that there is no concern around it. And even the scripts and everything, the instructors are experienced enough to take care of it. Perfect. So this is one thing which I wanted to cover, and I will also, maybe we can talk later around this part. Now, one last request I have from all of you before we wind up this session. Remember, I just talked about the NPS aspect. Now, talking with respect to only today's session, which is a free session from Scalar perspective, which is like what I have delivered to you, what content have gone through it, just to get a pulse whether this was helpful at least for your last 1.5 hour to 2 hour in terms of your understanding about this concept, which is a free session anyway, and how that went in. I would love to have one NPS discussion with you to get a pulse whether you were okay with it, whether you are not happy with it, or you're too angry that you want to basically shoot me out, right? So that's another part. So with this, I'm going to request my co-host to take care of it from here.
Doing some polls to understand how the event went. I'm launching the first poll for the overall learning experience. I can see you guys have started with giving us 10, 8. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. Please understand, on a Saturday evening, it takes us a lot of efforts to bring such content that everybody loves, and to uh, accumulate the content, to decide on what to do, what topics to do, what can actually help boost your understanding. So please, if you feel that this session was a 10 on 10, please don't hesitate and just give us a 10, click on a 10 and submit it. It will help us all together. It will help us to grow. Thank you guys. Amazing. Like, it feels so nice to read these messages. Thank you so much. Guys, we will be launching 3 more polls to understand these separate aspects of the event. So the next poll that I have is the pace at which we had today's session. If you feel that the pace of the session was again 10 on 10, 5 on 5, please go ahead and give us. There is a very interesting question. I really want to take this question. There is a question that today's scenario, AI is good or bad for the human, and how it can be useful for human. Very good question to be asked. Uh, I'll tell you. There are big tech founders who have already mentioned that AI is not there to take up your job. Okay, please understand, AI is neither fully or not, it's not fully amazing thing to have. It's not fully a thing which can be a bad for you. It depends upon how you use it. Okay. If you're talking about in the aspects of software developer, one second, I'll launch the next poll and then we will go to that question again. Okay, just give me a second. The next poll that I'll be launching will be pace at which we had, sorry, for the engagement of today's session. If you feel that the session was engaging enough, then, please give us 5 on 5 if you feel that. After this, we will have one more poll and then we will end the session. Okay. So what I'm seeing is, okay, I will go back and maybe I will answer it in a way of data scientist. See, AI is highly beneficial and, it's used for the people who are data scientists. AI is more helpful than harm, that I will definitely say in a way. Why? Because now a human productivity can be increased using AI tools. Like, how can AI be used? You can use it to automate your work, to be productive, to take better decision, to understand, there are different models, the health, there is transformation that is happening to the healthcare sector, right? Like, Shivang talked about cancer detection or tuberculosis detection, all of this, personalization, like, Netflix recommendation, personalized ad, all of these are, things that is going to help us, right? But you need to know how to use these tools. Like you need to be, equipped. You have to equip yourself with the current skill set, which is really important. The next poll that I'll be launching will be for the content of the session. If you feel that the content of this session was amazing, please give us a 5 on 5. In the meantime, I will share the link of the certificate and also share a feedback forms. This feedback form is a form that if there is anything else other than these three few polls that we did, and if you want to tell us anything or suggest us anything, please do not hesitate. Please fill out this form. We will be, we're really here to what our user really wants us to deliver and provide. We really, will be really happy to help you guys. So please go ahead and engage with that poll. Next is, sorry, link of the certificate. 1 second. Okay. I have shared the link of the certificate. Please understand the certificates will be only available after 10 a.m. tomorrow. So please, don't spam us by that. I can't see the, you will land in the same page if you click now. But by tomorrow, 10 a.m., you'll be able to focus. You'll be able to get the certificate. Okay. AI can't take place human. AI is generated robot can take human job. But AI generated robots can take human jobs. Actually, let us frame it nicely, Shashank. You know, AI will not take up jobs. Yes, AI actually is not there to take your job, but is there to become your catalyst. AI can't replace human, but AI powered uh, can help human to do work more efficiently with minimizing the manual efforts or repetitive work, all of that. Link of the certificate is already given. Please fill out, please go and check. For the last time, I'll be, if you want to, there was a request that I could see if you want to talk to the Scalar alumni. What I'll do is maybe, let me find the poll. Okay. Okay, for the last time, I launched this poll. If you want to talk to someone who themselves are AI engineers, data scientists, ML engineers, you want to talk to them, please say yes for this poll. They will be reaching out to you to answer your question. Please, for more such understanding of about the course, please talk to the career counselor. Like I have already mentioned it previously also, please talk to career counselor. They are the best sets of people to help you along the way, make you understand what's going around and all of that. Okay, yes, please interact. Certificate link, guys, I have already shared the certificate link. The same page that you are in right now is the link for the certificate. Okay, so once again, thank you so much, guys. Thank you for joining us. Hope to you have a wonderful experience. Keep learning, keep upskilling. For more such events of Scalar, keep checking scalar.com/events.